right, guys, so I just got home from the grocery store, so I'm showing you guys a little grocery haul here. Now, this is not a typical grocery haul because we are getting ready for our annual fall party. Every year, we host a fall party in October, and I make a ginormous roaster of chili. And this year, we're actually making 2 different types of chili, which I'm going to show you guys that later on. And then we also do lots of hot dogs and cornbread and just all kinds of fun desserts and s'mores, all the good stuff. So anyway, this is actually our 10th annual, at least that's what me and my husband are thinking. We've been doing these basically since we started getting married, not the very beginning, but just a couple years after we got married, we've been doing it ever since. And I think this will be our 10th one. We were kind of like adding it up and thinking about it in our heads. Also, while I was out, I got some milk from a local dairy farm. And so I am putting this away, and I'm also leaving out a few jars because I'm going to get a batch of yogurt going, and I'm also going to get dinner going. So I have lots of things here going on in the kitchen. I did get a few staple items for us. Potatoes, I got some sweet potatoes, onions, but then I also got most of the groceries I got are for the party. Now, in years past, I have done dried beans, canned tomatoes, all different types of chilies. But this year I am keeping it super simple. And so I got a bunch of cans of beans and a bunch of cans of tomatoes. And I'm putting all of the things for the party, leaving it out on the countertop because tomorrow I'll actually be cooking. And so I'm just leaving everything that's for the party out there. Obviously, things that need to go in the fridge, like these hot dogs and different things, sour cream, cheese, that's going in the fridge. But all the things that can stay out, I'm just going to put on the counter so it's all together tomorrow whenever it is time to start cooking. I also got butter. That's always a staple and something that we need here in my house. I am going to be making some lasagna for dinner, so I'm getting my meat going, just going to get that browned and let that brown while I continue to put away groceries. While I was at this store, I was like, what are we going to make for dinner? And my daughter was with me and she suggested lasagna. I was like, that works out. So we got all the things to make lasagna. And so I had meat already at home. So I'm getting that going and getting this yogurt going, and then I will make my dinner. One thing I was going to say, okay, so I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but groceries have gone up so much. I am not one to pay any attention to prices or groceries. I don't know. It's just me. I don't worry about like gas prices either. Like I know people who kind of like drive out of their way to get cheaper gas. And I'm like, hey, when I need gas, I stop and I get gas. And that's how I am with groceries too. I just get groceries when I need them. I don't pay too much attention to the prices. And also I get a lot of my groceries, from farms, and my sisters get all my meat from my sister's farm. And so I don't really get too many groceries from the store. But I noticed like when I got this big haul and just thinking about doing this years past, like this cost a lot more than other years. So anyway, just something I noticed. I'm sure you guys have all noticed this too. I know it's not just me, but it's just crazy. Like even just getting a couple of things from the store and then like going up and checking out, like how in the world did I just spend $100? Like what did I even buy? What did I even get here? Anyway, for this yogurt, I always heat up a small amount of it and add in a little bit of gelatin to thicken it. And then I add in some yogurt starter and then just do it on the Instapot. And I ferment mine for 24 hours. I actually have this recipe on my blog. So if you're interested in making yogurt, you guys can get that recipe there. It's really, really easy to do. And it's a really cheap way to make a probiotic food for your family. I got the first layer of my lasagna all prepped, but the meat was not quite ready yet. So I'm taking a little cleaning break and cleaning out all of my milk jars. And then later on, when my yogurt's finished, and I will put them back in the jars because I'll need the Instapot for other things, and also it just takes up more space in the refrigerator to store in the Instapot. So typically after the yogurt's done, I will pour it back in to the milk jars to store it. You can see all of my cans here of tomatoes and all of my buns and just all the things for my party. I'm just trying to leave it out, like I said, because I'm going to be cooking tomorrow. In this bowl here is just some cottage cheese, a couple eggs, a little bit of Parmesan cheese, and some seasonings. And this will be my cheese layer for my lasagna. After I put down the cottage cheese layer, I put down some mozzarella cheese and Parmesan cheese. And then I'm going to go check on my meat and see if it's finished yet. It is done. And so I'm going to put my meat layer in my lasagna. I always forget about lasagna. It's one of those meals I just don't make very often, but everyone in my family loves it. In my freezer meal video that I did recently, I made some lasagnas, and I think that's why she thought of it, because that was kind of recently. But typically it's just kind of one of those things I forget about, but everyone loves lasagna, and it's nice because it's all one meal in one pan. So it's an easy cleanup and actually very easy to make as well. So now that groceries are put away, yogurt's going, we are going to eat dinner. And then I'll be picking this video up again tomorrow when I am cooking for our fall party. All right, I want to take a quick moment to thank today's video sponsor, Element. Element is a tasty electrolyte drink with everything you need and nothing you don't. I personally love drinking Element, and everyone in my family loves it. We have all of our different favorite flavors. Some of our favorites are definitely the grapefruit, the raspberry, and the watermelon. And the thing that I love most about Element is that there's no added sugar, no artificial ingredients or coloring. They are gluten-free, and they are great for all different types of diets like paleo and keto. When you sweat, the primary electrolyte lost is sodium. And when sodium is not replaced, it's common to experience muscle cramps and fatigue. Element can help prevent and eliminate headaches, muscle cramps, fatigue, sleepiness, and other common symptoms of electrolyte deficiencies. Right now, Element is offering my viewers a free sample pack with any order. That's 8 single servings of all the different Element flavors with any order. So that's a great way to try all the flavors to figure out which one's your favorite. And also it's a great way to share Element with a friend. So if you guys want that deal and want to check out our favorite electrolyte drink, you can go to drinkelement.com/ouroilyhouse. That's DRINKLMNT.com/ouroilyhouse. Or you can use the link down in my description box below. All right, so this is actually the day of the party. We are having it on a Friday evening. Typically we do it on a Saturday, but all of our Saturdays in October were filling up, and so we are doing it on a Friday. And my husband is helping me out here. We are doing 2 different types of chili. We recently got a bunch of moose meat from my dad, and so my husband is making a spicy moose chili. And I'll say, because I'm recording this after the fact, it was a hit. He's like, next year I'm definitely making more of that, because everybody loved the moose chili, and it was like really, really spicy. And so I made a huge roaster of chili. I used mostly sausage. I did add in a little bit of beef, but I did mostly sausage in this. And I didn't make mine very spicy because there are a lot of children in my family. And so I knew that they would want something that wasn't like super spicy. And so he made his, and it was actually, I'll tell you this, I didn't even try it because I went for the non-spicy kind, because every time I got a bowl, I was eating with my baby or my toddler and like sharing with them. And so I never tried the spicy kind. So anyway, but from other people, I will say they all said it was really good. So I'm going to go ahead and take their word for it. He mixed together a bunch of different spices to add in to the moose meat. If you've never had moose before, it is very similar to deer meat, but it doesn't taste quite as gamey as deer meat, in my opinion. It tastes a lot like beef, to be honest, but this recipe is actually on his cast iron skillet cooking blog, and so I'll link it down below if you're interested. And if you don't have moose, you can definitely make it with just ground beef, ground turkey, ground chicken, anything you want. I am slicing up a bunch of peppers and we're slicing up a bunch of onions. I told my husband, hey, you slice up onions. I hate slicing up onions. My eyes water so bad when I slice them up. So I'm doing the peppers. Now, we got these peppers from my sister. She had a bunch of leftover peppers in her garden. And so she gave me those, and she told me when she gave them to me, she said, beware because some of them are very spicy. So when I was cutting open the peppers, I was like smelling them and trying to tell if they were spicy or not. It's pretty easy to tell actually, because if you cut open a pepper and it makes like you cough or your eyes water, then it's spicy. So I was passing these spicy ones over to my husband to put in his chili, and I was taking the non-spicy ones and putting them in my chili. Now, he also had some cans of habanero tomatoes that he added into his. I got those for him just at Walmart when I was doing my grocery haul. I went ahead and grabbed some of those because he had told me that he wanted a really spicy chili. So that's what he was adding into his. So we did this pretty much like most of the day off and on. We kind of just cooked in the kitchen. We had some other things we had to do to prepare for the party, which we did do later on in the afternoon, which you'll see, but just kind of in the morning, we were off and on cooking. And when you make meat in a roaster, you just have to constantly go back to it and like break it up until it's all brown. So in between doing that, I got some cleaning done. I like to always clean before I have a party just to make the house, kind of put together. And so first thing I did was went down to the entryway. I don't know what it is about the entryway. And now this time of year too, with all the leaves that are starting to fall, it's just constantly like just trashed with leaves and all that. So anyway, cleaning up the entryway, vacuuming the stairs, and also making a pretty flower arrangement, even with it being fall time and starting to get some like cooler days. We still have not had our first frost here where I live. And so flowers are still blooming. It's such a fun time because the colors on the trees are all changing, and there's pumpkins out and mums, and then also still all of my summer flowers. So everything's just really gorgeous. I know that will all be ending really soon. So I'm making probably one of the final flower arrangements with my zinnias and all of my pretty cut flowers that I have in my garden. And I'm going to be putting those back on the table, but I'm cleaning the table first. This table gets so sticky. Even though the majority of our party will be outside, I just want to make the inside cozy and inviting. It's going to be a very nice evening here. And so most people probably will stay outside, but there are a lot of people that have babies. And if they want to go inside, obviously at all to nurse or to play or just to change diapers or anything, I want the house to be nice and put together for anybody that wants to come in. And so I'm just doing a few little things in here, and, not even for a party. This is just things that have to be done. Adding some extra fruit to our fruit bowl. Like I said, making a little flower arrangement, lighting my candle. We have a couple little mini pumpkins. We went to the pumpkin patch, I don't know how many times already this year. And every time we go, my littlest, or not really my littlest, my toddler always wants to pick out a pumpkin. So last time he picked out these little white pumpkins, and they've been on the table ever since. And so those are our little bits of fall decor. I am vacuuming under this rug as well, or under the table on this rug. It is a constant job to be vacuuming this rug. It's just always needs a good vacuum. Pretty much after every single meal, it needs a good vacuum, but no big deal. Just something that has to be done. So taking care of that today. And then I'm going to be going into my living room to work on my mantle. I told you guys that I was kind of working on this little space, and I have picked up a few different items. And so I am trying to figure out how I want to style this mantle. I got some little candle holders. I'm going to be adding some beeswax taper candles to those, and going to play it out with that for a little bit and see how I like it, and if I think I need to add anything else or not. But so far, I'm really liking the way that the mantle is looking, especially with that new frame TV. It just makes me, I don't know, look so good with the pretty art on there. Cleaning my bathroom here off of our kitchen because I'm sure this will be used a lot. Then I'm also going downstairs and cleaning the bathroom in the basement. I don't record that because no one needs to see me clean my little boy's bathroom. Oh man. I talked to you guys about that in the last video about little boys and bathrooms, and the one in the basement is just theirs. And so that's one of those bathrooms where you have to like wear a mask and go down there, gloves, and throw away your clothes when you're done. But I did get that bathroom cleaned as well. All right, so back into the kitchen. It's been a couple of hours and my husband has been back and forth kind of stirring and breaking up this meat. And I'm adding in my peppers, and I'm going to add in a bunch of canned beans and tomatoes. Anytime I make chili, I never buy chili beans, mainly because I don't like the seasonings that are in chili beans. There's this, if you look at the back of the can, there's lots of added things in there that I don't typically like giving my family. And so I like to just buy organic kidney beans, and then I will season the chili on my own. And so that's what I'm adding in here. Just plain beans. I don't even think it has any added salt. Maybe it does. But it's a lot to season this much. It's always surprising how much chili powder you need to season this. So my husband is helping me with this because we are going to be seasoning it and just kind of like taste testing it and adding more. And also with chili, it's always so good just as it simmers and cooks and as the onions and peppers and garlic all start like kind of mingling in with the meat and the sauce. And so we'll kind of go back to that a few times throughout the day and just keep trying it and adding more as needed. All right, so now we are outside and kind of getting our outside area ready because like I said, majority of this gathering will be outside. We'll have a big bonfire for the kids to roast hot dogs and also marshmallows and s'mores. And we are taking this time to kind of spruce up this back little patio here. We have so many weeds that grow through this concrete and obviously a lot of leaves have fallen. And so it's time to get those all blown off. And so we're just kind of like picking some weeds here, and not necessarily for the party. It's not like this has to be done for the party, but while we're out there, like, all right, this looks pretty bad. And once we pick it this time, it's going to be frosting soon and all the stuff's going to die. And I'm so actually ready for that. Like as much as I love the fall, like by the end of this time of year, I'm like, all right, I'm over it. I'm ready for everything to like frost over and like take a break from weeding and gardening and all of those jobs of the summer. So getting out a few tables too. I completely forgot to get tablecloths, and so I'm just going to like wipe these down. But these are going to be the food tables. People don't typically eat at a table. Usually we have chairs down by the fire and people sit down there and eat. But this is where I'll put my roaster of chili in the crock pot that my husband made, and then everybody will be bringing some sides and different desserts and things. So this is kind of like where all of the food will go. We have this big, huge orange thing that we bought like years and years ago that we keep water in, and we just have that for water. And then that's pretty much all I don't know. We don't really like do many drinks in our family. Like everyone's just kind of water drinkers. So we got some soda, but most of it's caffeinated. So I guess that would more just be for the adults. So we're getting the fire going and we will be ready for our guests to arrive and get this party started. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this little video watching us get ready for our annual fall party.